We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, smash the like button, share the video if you want to support this national independent college football's rebel outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $sign where you make your comment and I will get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone call. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Monday evening. The storm here in Minnesota is south of us. We did not get hit. Now, there's a lot of flash flooding. There is a big tornado in Blue Earth, Minnesota, as we speak. But it was supposed to hit us. And the models and everything, it drifted south of us. Thank goodness. The little general and I are not a particular fans of tornadoes. We were hit by a tornado when we had a home in Rogers, Minnesota. You can go ahead and Google Rogers tornado, Minnesota. In fact, the Minneapolis Tribune came along when I was looking at the destruction along our streets. And the newspaper, a lady in a red car came and drove up next to us. All the lights were off, but her headlights, she came and I got a few quotes from you. I was in the Minneapolis Tribune paper talking about the tornado that hit us. So when that happens in your life, you don't want to happen again. That's all I'm going to say. You do not want it to happen again. Now, tonight, I should say, the question has been asked in the chat room by the Nebraska Cornhuskers, scathing yes. What are the Canes doing that warrant this? The CFB PATC Spotlight Series, the Miami Hurricanes. Nothing bad. This is what we do. This is what we did last year. During our live shows, during the off season, we called it the Spotlight Series, where we take one team and we put them under the spotlight and we go over the team. We go over the key players just a little bit more than what we've already done. It is April 13th. It's still early. It's still very early. This is not going to be the last time we talk about the Miami Hurricanes. It's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. But we begin our Spotlight Series tonight. And we're taking the chalk, the ACC chalk, the Miami Hurricanes, and we're going to talk about them. We go over about 4 to 5 players. I go over a little bit of what I think what's going to happen this season. One of the players this year especially, I'm going to try to take somebody that we do not know, a newcomer, so to speak, and put them under the spotlight, a name that maybe you should put in the back of your head, and we've got one here in our spotlight of the Miami Hurricanes. On our live show tomorrow, it's going to be a different team. The day after that, a different team. We cover them all in the Power 4, some in the G6, and that's how we do it. Leading up into the month of August. Kenneth Manor, Miami will make some noise again this year. They are a heavy chalk. A heavy chalk to win the ACC. They are a heavier chalk to win the ACC championship than the Red Raiders are winning the Big 12 championship, according to Vegas, according to the sports books. They're both heavy chalks. Miami's a little bit heavier. We're going to go through the football schedule. Again, spotlight on Miami. But that's not all that we're going to do tonight. More drama in the state of Virginia. More drama in the state of Virginia. Cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger. Positioning. Timothy Sands, the longtime president of the Virginia Tech, he's leaving. Why is he leaving? Is he being kicked out? Is this a North Carolina Kevin Gusowich situation? Is this what happened in a University of Virginia situation? It sounds like it. And the governor of Virginia, Spanberger, she wants to make sure that it is her people, her new people at the Board of Visitors that make the call on who's going to be the next president of Virginia Tech. For a lot of reasons that I don't even care about, but for some reason, for one particular reason, we do care about, and that is the future of the Cavaliers and the Hokies athletic departments, basketball programs, football programs, and conference affiliation. So we are going to go through the drama in the state of Virginia. Holy smokes. Bill Connley, this happened almost a week ago. Bill Connley put out his favorite transfer portal classes. And number one on the list is a Big 12 school. A Big 12 team that has got number one on the list. He does not have a Big 10 portal class as the number one. He does not have an SEC team as number one. He's got a Big 12 team. I just so happen to agree with that. I just so happen that there's going to be something magical happening in Stillwater, Oklahoma in the 2026 season. So we've got a pretty interesting show here on a Friday night, April 13th. I'm glad you could join us. It is very hot in the studio. I should have put the air on. My bad. I am burning up. Kay Struthers is in the house. Rodney Richborg, Go Tigers. Don Scruggs, Bruce Harris, Bob Swanger. Phil Sorensen, the Cornhusker, Skaven, yes. Ryan Brooks, another LSU Tiger. He's got to dip out, though. He's got to watch his Tampa Bay Lightning play hockey. What's more important, the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey or the spotlight that is on the Miami Hurricanes tonight? What is more important? We got a Rutgers, Xmas Talks is in the house. We got a Cowboy, MBM. We got Wolverine Nation, Bimba 75, 79. Tazbo, thanks for coming on in, Tazbo. I appreciate it. Nice to see you again. Deadeye, yo, Greg. Yo, Deadeye. We got the Buckeye, Caleb Ramirez. We got Love Sports. I'm here on time for once. Let's go, Mountaineers. I do believe, I could be mistaken, I don't think I am, Bill Connley likes the West Virginia portal class. We'll get into that in a little bit later. Chef Maul, nice to see Chef Maul is in the house. I just finished the drone episode. Daniel Gorby is here. The Miami Hurricanes have never won the ACC, but I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Seminole, who just threw an elbow at his rival. The Hurricanes are going to win the ACC this year. They're going to get it done this year, right? I'm not trying to throw stones at the other 16 ACC teams out there. Duke won it last year. The Duke Blue Devils won it last year. It just so happens Miami's got their quarterback. Miami's going to win it this year. Come on. I think that is one thing we all agree on. Right? Canes fan is in the house. The Architect, hello, PATC. Edward, the Auburn Tiger. Jay Chapman is here. BYU football is here. Phil Granetti, Solidify, is in the house. Jansen Roberts. Flugar's picking Georgia to lose every game. I got Georgia to get to the playoffs. So that isn't quite accurate. Not quite accurate. Who else is here? Who else made it in? Greg, Buckeye Greg. Thank you for coming on in, Buckeye Greg. I appreciate it. And we got Rod Nix. What's up, PATC family? Gold Knowles. David Kreitzer, Secret Agent. Movie Time Blues. We've got Marcus Williams in the house. The Big Gun Shop. Rod Nix. The tropical depressions will fall short again. They can't close the deal. Okay, Rod Nix doesn't agree. No Seminole agrees with me on this, that Miami is going to win the ACC championship. The state of Virginia doesn't have to concern itself about any realignment moves until after this governor is gone. Ooh. That's a possibility. But I happen to think that's not the chalk. And that's why we got to follow so closely what is happening. Boots on the ground in the great state of Virginia. Kenneth Maynard, Miami will beat SMU for the ACC championship, and both will get in the playoffs. Woo! Hoosier Dave, Georgia always gets in the playoffs. It's either they get there, that's where the problems start. Jansen Roberts, no. Please, Greg, no. Okay. Misanthropist Jesus is in the house. Coy is here. Karan Shakar, not getting any notifications. Not getting any notifications. We've also got a couple of very kind super chats from a couple of gentlemen who have walked in to the PATC studio. Hollywood Caden. Not the diesel freak, but Hollywood Caden. Thank you for the $2 holler, Caden. I appreciate it very much. Hollywood Caden is now the name. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for starting us off today. Thank you, Mr. Hollywood. Mr. Hollywood. And we've got the Evil Badger. Ryan Willett. Ryan Willett. The legend. $5 holla. Ryan Willie. ESPN. Wisconsin Talking Heads believe that Fickell must win a minimum of 8 games this season to save his job. I agree on that. They've got an easier schedule this year. And now you're going to have a new athletic director. And whoever that athletic director is, did not hire Luke Fickell. So Luke Fickell's job has become a little bit more tenuous. He's a little bit more on the hot seat after McIntosh somehow got a job with the Big Ten. And I think it might end up being an important job. I hope not. I hope not. Thank you, Evil Badger. Thank you so very much. Wisconsin did name an interim athletic director today. Now, I think Evil Badger believes that Fickell's going to win 8 games. Let me put it this way. If the Wisconsin Badgers are 7-4 going into the last week of the regular season, and they're playing for the Axe, will the Badgers win their 8th game? The answer is no. 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 Even Evil Badger agrees with me. No. Tough Tony PJ got another local, a defensive lineman from Edina. Something is off about that picture. What does it mean, Greg? I don't know what picture you're talking about. Don't know what picture you're talking about. Miami gambled on Beck. It worked almost. Greg the Cooler thinks Miami will win the ACC. Daniel Gorby. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I very much appreciate it. I first want to touch upon, and by the way, thank you, Hollywood Caden and the Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, for your generosity to start us off tonight. I first want to just hit upon this. And again, my bad. I should have seen this a week ago, 6 days ago. Bill Connley. We're going to skip over a lot of this, but this is his favorite recruiting portal classes. Not portal classes. Going into the 2026 season. Number 1, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Drew Mestemaker, Caleb Hawkins, Wyatt Young. We've talked about it. I got Oklahoma State in the top 25. I've got Oklahoma State battling for a possible Big 12 championship appearance at the end of the season. BYU, Utah, Kansas State. You've got to keep your eye on the Cowboys this year. Bill Connley's got the Oklahoma State Cowboys as the number one portal class. That's big time. That is absolutely big time. Again, they go through other players that the Oklahoma State Cowboys got. We don't have time to really break this down. I wish I would have seen this a week ago, but I failed to. Indiana, number 2. Bill Connelly's got the Hoosiers at his second favorite portal class. Josh Hoover. And look, Turbo Richard. I like Turbo Richard. I talked about him 2 years ago. All the juice that he shows when he's playing. I love Turbo. That's a big pickup for Indiana. Big pickup. Kirk Signetti. He's weaseled his portal class into the heart of Bill Connelly. And again, Nick Marsh of Michigan State. Nick Marsh. Colorado, the Buffaloes, who I've got finishing dead last in the Big 12. Bill Connelly saying, look, they got that wide receiver from San Jose State. Gideon Lampron from Bowling Green, a linebacker, 123 tackles. And then Cam Perry, by the way, who I like, again, Miami of Ohio are producing wide receivers that are getting picked up by the Power 4 programs year after year. Cam Perry is the next dude, and he's going to the Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado, the third favorite portal class for Bill Connelly. 4 through 6, Texas Tech, LSU, and Miami, and they spent a whole lot of money. Brendan Sorsby for the Red Raiders. Outside linebacker Adam Trick, again, Miami of Ohio. Jalen Jones, Alabama State, over almost 1,400 yards, 19.3 yards per catch. He's stepping up in class. But the Red Raiders, Jalen Jones, we got to keep an eye on Jalen Jones. And then you've got LSU. The big-time left tackle from Colorado, Jordan Seaton. Again, there's a lot of reasons why I've got LSU going to the SEC championship game. All right? I think LSU is going to be the second best team in the Southeastern Conference. Yeah, I talk about Sam Leavitt a lot. I do. But when you get Jordan Seaton, the left tackle, 0 sacks allowed. When you get Jace Brown, Kansas State, Big 12 people know how good Jace Brown is. You got the defensive end, I cannot pronounce his name, but the Prince Will making some big plays. And then, of course, you got Sam Leavitt, Arizona State quarterback. You guys know how much I love Sam Leavitt. Big portal class for Lane Kiffin and the LSU Tigers. And then, of course, Miami. Barquette, the Cooper Barquette, the receiver from Duke. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. Darian Mensah, of course. Safety Omar Thornton. There's another safety that I want to talk about in our Spotlight series for Miami. You got edge rusher Damon Wilson from Missouri. UCLA, number 7 on the list. Wayne Knight to James Madison, great running back who led James Madison in the playoffs. The Bruins, Wayne Knight. That's going to be very interesting to watch what happens there. Kansas State, Wendell Gregory from Big 12 rival Oklahoma State. Elijah Hill, Kennesaw State. We heard a lot about him when he went in the portal. A lot of people trying to get Elijah Hill from Kennesaw State, a defensive end. West Virginia, there it is. West Virginia, we talked about the great Cam Cook. I watched Cam Cook a couple of times last year. In my mind, I'm thinking this guy's going to play for a Power 4 program. I got to keep an eye on what happens in the portal. Sure enough, he goes in the portal. Sure enough, he becomes a Mountaineer. Cam Cook. There should be a lot of excitement for Cam Cook. Bill Connley likes Cam Cook. Outside linebacker Harper Holloman from Western Kentucky. And of course, Michael Hawkins, who's going to be battling for the number one quarterback position, the transfer from Oklahoma. Rich Rodriguez, good portal class. According to Bill Connley, Florida Atlantic at number 10. Number 11, Willie Fritz of Houston. Mekhi Hughes, hopefully he gets back on track. Coming from Oregon, he did not really do anything with Oregon, but at Tulane, he was sensational. I think he's going to help out Connie Wegman and Amari Thomas, the great wide receiver. They might have that three-headed monster at Houston, and they had a really good defense last year at Houston. Again, PATC's got the Houston Cougars number 4 in the Big 12. Number 4. And I'm not going to back away from that. I got Kansas State at number 5 and all, but the Houston Cougars are the real deal Holyfield in this. Connie Wegman, Mekhi Hughes, and Amari Thomas. Good portal class for the Houston Cougars, according to Bill Connley. Number 12, Washington State. They got the quarterback from UC Davis. Number 13, Kentucky. Will Stein, the new head coach. Now, of course, the guy that I'm focused on is Mr. Kenny Minchey. Stein also picked up an exciting, if unproven, quarterback. Yeah, he's unproven in the sense that he hasn't played in the regular season too much, but he was sensational at Notre Dame spring camp and August camp last year. C.J. Carr just beat him out by a hair. The kid's got a lot of tools. California, number 14, and I'm going to highlight this cat, Ian Strong. Esmus Talks might not want me to highlight him, but he's a very tough wide receiver to cover. He's going to get you those hard receptions. Very difficult guy to cover, to knock the ball out of his hands. Ian Strong is a dude, man. Absolute dude. And of course, Chase Hendricks is the other big-time receiver from the Ohio Bobcats. Over 1,000 yards receiving. Number 15, Texas. Now, why Texas is not rated higher on this for Bill Connley, I don't know. Raleek Brown, Cam Coleman, Rasheem Biles. I've talked a lot about Raleek Brown. I've talked a lot about Cam Coleman. Sensational players. Rasheem Biles is a dude. The linebacker from Pittsburgh. What a class. What a portal class for the Longhorns. Number 16, Virginia, Bo Pibula, who I've sort of fallen out of love with, I got to be honest. Number 17, Virginia Tech, Ethan Gruntmeyer. I don't know about. I'm just gonna have to watch. I have not seen enough of Gruntmeyer. He went on a decent roll with the Nittany Lions at the end of the season. I don't know. Auburn, number 18, Byron Brown. Number 19, Tulsa. They got the Old Dominion running back. And then Iowa. Lendon Phillips, South Dakota. Kamari Brown, Anthony Hopkins from Villanova. Those are the top 20 portal classes that Bill Connley likes the most. Very interesting. And again, this came out about 6 days ago, and I did not see it. No, you did not miss the Miami. It's a spotlight series. We're just going to break down some of the important Miami Hurricane players. We're going to take one team every live show. They're going to be under the spotlight. We did this last year. I don't know if everybody forgot, but we did a spotlight series last year. We're going to do it again this year. Adam's still hearing that Philo has the edge after the spring game. You would think he's going to be QB1. You would think so. I know a lot of people like that freshman, second-year redshirt freshman, I believe. But you'd think Aaron Philo, when you're coming from Georgia Tech and you're bringing the Georgia Tech offensive coordinator into Gainesville, and you're bringing in Eric Singleton, who played with that offensive coordinator 2 years ago at Georgia Tech, you would think it would be Aaron Philo, the quarterback for Florida State. Okay. All right, so I just wanted to do that. I just want to hit upon that Bill Connley article, his favorite portal classes. Pretty interesting. Oklahoma State, of course, number one. Okay. Let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes now. Let's go to our first team under the PATC Spotlight. The Miami Hurricanes. Heavy chalk to win the ACC championship. I've got Miami Hurricanes winning the ACC championship. I've got them as the number 4th seed, getting a bye in the college football playoffs. The Miami Hurricanes are a threat to win it all. And why shouldn't they be a threat to win it all? I know they lost some brilliant defensive linemen, but they got some guys who they're, light foot and other guys that they think are going to be able to produce enough for them. It's going to be a great Miami Hurricanes defense. It is. Corey Heatherman has signed an extended contract. Offensive coordinator Dawson has just signed a new contract. The Miami Hurricanes have got their coordinators all locked up. Mario Cristobal's got it all going on here. So, who's going to lead the Miami Hurricanes in 2026? It's not going to be Cam Ward, of course. It's not going to be, look, Carson Beck did a pretty good job last year. He did. But I think this guy is a big step up for the Miami Hurricanes. Darren Mensah, I fell in love with him when I watched Tulane versus Kansas State a couple of years ago. Early in the 2024 season, Darren Mensah was an absolute beast for Tulane. And then what did he do at Duke? He led the Duke Blue Devils to the ACC championship. And the Duke Blue Devils defense couldn't stop anybody. Nobody. Darren Mensah is an animal. He's an absolute beast. Mensah with Malachi Tony. I think the Hurricanes are going to be must-see TV. Last year, threw for 3,973 passing yards. He threw the ball 500 times. 500 times. 500 attempts. Only 6 interceptions. 34 touchdowns. 66.8% completion percentage. 153.6 quarterback ranking. And he had to do it every time. Every time he got on the football field, Darren Mensah had to perform. Every time the Blue Devils had the football, Duke had to score a touchdown. If that's not how it's going to be at Miami, he's not going to have to score every... The pressure is going to be off Darren Mensah. The pressure's good. Now, the pressure of winning, sure. The pressure of winning an ACC championship, of course. He already did that with Duke, by the way. Karan Shakar. Darren Mensah couldn't lead Duke over Tulane or UConn, though. I hope that's a little bit of a troll job, Karan Shakar, because did you see Duke's defense against UConn? Did you see that game? Duke couldn't stop you, Karan. He couldn't stop me. He couldn't stop MBM, Adam. He couldn't stop Al Bundy, Hoosier Dave, Kenneth Maynard. He couldn't stop 11 of us. Darren Mensah had an absolute brilliant season last year. And now he's going to be the starting quarterback of Miami. And he's going to get a lot of help. He's going to get a lot of help. Let's start with the man who can do it all, Mark Fletcher. And I apologize, that should be 2025 stats, not 2024 stats. Almost 1,200 yards rushing, 5.5 yards per rush, 12 rushing touchdowns, 17 receptions. He can block on third down. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He is the leader of the Miami Hurricanes. And they got a couple of other dudes, by the way. They got a couple of other running backs that are going to be they're going to be hitting the football field. They're going to be winning. They're going to be Pringle and the other guy, Jordan Lyle, I forget his name, but Pringle, he should be emerging this year. Miami is absolutely loaded in the backfield, but that's not all. Mark Fletcher is going to be a first team, second team, all ACC running back, probably first team. Cooper Barquette. The transfer from Duke. Coming in with Darren Mensah. Mensah and Barquette, they know each other. 72 receptions last year. 1,106 yards last year. 15.4 average per reception. 7 receiving touchdowns. And of course, he's not even going to be their number one target. I mean, how are you going to cover all these dudes? How are you going to cover all these dudes? You're not going to be able to. You're just not. Fletcher, Parkett, and of course, Spider-Man. Malachi Tony. And when I release PATC releases, and it's about the only thing we haven't done yet, our way too early Heisman watch. You know who's going to be number one on that Heisman watch? You know who's going to be number one? It's going to be Malachi Tony, Spider-Man, the Miami Hurricanes. True freshman last year, look what he did. 109 receptions, 1,200 yards receiving, 10 receiving touchdowns. He made first down after first down after first down. Every big play. He was unbelievable last year. Absolute superstar. And he's got Darren Mensah as his quarterback. He's got Cooper Barquette as his other guy. He's got that backfield. My goodness. Now, for the fifth and final player for Miami under the spotlight, there's a whole lot of other names that I could have thrown out here. A whole lot of other names. But this year, I'm going to try to introduce a player that most of us haven't heard about. A freshman that hasn't played. A sophomore that hasn't really played. In this case, is true freshman safety J.J. Dunnigan. 2025 Kansas Football Player of the Year. The state of Kansas. 6'3", 192 pounds. When he was being recruited, he was the 9th guy in the nation at safety, number 2 player in the state of Kansas. J.J. Dunnigan. Again, one of these players we're just going to have to keep an eye on. Now, some of you might say, well, Greg, he's going to be a true freshman going into Corey Heatherman's defense. He's not going to play that much. Well, I don't know, guys. I mean, last year, true freshman Malachi Tony, look what he did. I'm just saying. I ain't saying, but I'm just saying. J.J. Dunnigan, just a name that you want to keep an eye on. Big old long arms, 6'3" safety. His arms go on forever. He's already got all the metrics. A lot of steam coming out about J.J. And then look at the football schedule. Yeah, we did talk about Corey Heatherman and Dawson. Both signed a new contract. Both coordinators are locked in for Miami. Look at the football schedule for the Miami Hurricanes. Begin the season at Stanford. Wake Forest is another away game. Excuse me. So they start the season. Their first 2 ACC games are on the road. Then their third ACC game, Clemson, is on the road. Then it's home against Florida State, home against Pittsburgh, at North Carolina, at Notre Dame. Home against Duke, home against Virginia Tech, home against Boston College. Now again, that at Notre Dame game on November 7th, that is going to be a rematch of last year where the Miami Hurricanes defeated Notre Dame. That got Miami into the playoffs. Notre Dame couldn't quite make it in. So that's the big one there. I don't know how much of a fight Clemson is going to put up. We're going to learn a lot about Clemson when they play LSU at the beginning of the season. But other than that, Miami's looked to be projected to go 12-0, 11-1, maybe 10-2. But Miami is a huge chalk to make the playoffs. So that is your Miami Hurricane Spotlight. Again, we're going to be hitting one team every day on our live shows. And pretty soon, before you know it, we're going to go through all the teams just like we did last year. And then in late July, mid-July, late July, early August, we're going to hit everybody again. And pretty soon, we're going to have all of this marinated in the PATC Einstein's college football. We're talking football during the off season. We talk about everything in college football because we love everything in college football on Peek Around the Corner National, Independent National Show. Now let's get to the drama in the state of Virginia. The drama in the state of Virginia. Josh Moody, today, collegeeducation.com, questions swirl over Virginia Tech resignation. Virginia Tech President Tim Sands is stepping down after 12 years on the job. But recent remarks from a powerful senator suggest he's being pushed out by the board. On the surface, the resignation of Virginia Tech President Tim Sands seems unremarkable. Sands, who's been the president of the public university for 12 years, announced Thursday that he plans to step down in the near future. A university news release touted his accomplishments and offered glowing remarks about his time at the helm of Virginia Tech. But a Thursday night message from Democratic U.S. Senator Tim Kaine has raised questions about Sands' resignation. I'm deeply troubled about this sudden departure of President Tim Sands at Virginia Tech, Kaine wrote in a statement shared with Inside Higher Education hours after the announcement was made. Like the university, Kaine noted his accomplishments, but he also suggested malfeasance. This action has the earmarks of a previous well-publicized efforts to oust presidents at other Virginia public universities, VMI, University of Virginia, George Mason University. Tim Kaine urges Governor Spanberger to get to the bottom of this latest attack on Virginia higher education and take all necessary action to insulate university leadership from politically motivated schemes. The senator did not specify in that statement what he was referring to, but his comments suggest that he sees Sands' departure as a fitting a pattern established by other public boards in the state, and not just in Virginia. Now we know it happened at North Carolina. We at Peek Around the Corner talked about how Kevin Gusowich was in a rock fight, and they were looking to push him out months before it even happened. It happens in places. It just so happens that this is really important. It might be really important when we talk about the next wave of disruption, the next wave of realignment and conference affiliation when it comes to these two Virginia public universities. The senator did not specify what the statement was referring to, but his comments suggest that he sees Sands' departure as a fitting a pattern. Kaine added to the message in an audio recording provided by staff, saying that he was not at liberty to share information he had received, cloak and dagger, but indicating that the board had wanted to move quickly to remove Sands before the new members joined. This is Virginia. This is the University of Virginia all over again, according to the Senator Tim Kaine. I think there is a desire by certain members on that board to force him out, even though he doesn't deserve to be treated like that, so that the board can pick a president before Governor Spanberger is able to put this administration's stamp on the Virginia Tech board, Kaine said in recording from Friday press call. He also pointed to past precedent. At UVA, then President Jim Ryan stepped down in June amid a federal investigation into DEI programs at the university. He would later reveal he was pressured by the board to resign and accused them of being dishonest about the circumstances of his exit and the investigation. Following his exit, UVA reached an agreement with federal government over DEI concerns. And if you remember, the UVA's Board of Visitors did hire a new president at Virginia. And Spanberger doesn't like that happened before her new board members that start in July were able to make the selection. The faculty at UVA did not like that. Now, there are some people who do like that. But possibly some people with SEC interests like that. But again, what's happening at Virginia is happening at Virginia Tech. In each of these cases, presidents were pushed out or pressured by boards appointed by former Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin, who regularly named conservative operatives and donors to those roles. SEC. While his successor, Spanberger, a Democrat, has moved quickly to reshape governing boards across the Commonwealth. 13 of the 14 Virginia Tech board members were appointed by Youngkin, though one was selected by former Democratic Governor Ralph Northam. While Youngkin donors are among the 14 members, the board is not compromised of a significant number of political activists or former Republican officials like many other public university boards in Virginia. So Virginia Tech, according to this article here, doesn't have all these former political operatives, but they do have a lot of people that would carry the interest of the Southeastern Conference. But they're going to be out of there in July. Back to the article. If there is a controversy, as Kane hinted, it is cryptic message. It is a well-kept secret. Virginia Tech did not address Kane's unusual statement when contacted Thursday night by Inside Higher Education. President Sands' leadership and commitment to Virginia Tech's mission and vision have been transformational for the university, the Commonwealth, and the public higher education. Virginia Tech spokesperson Mark Azowski wrote in an email statement to Inside Higher Education. Asked to address the statement specifically, he did not respond. Sands says in his departure announcement that it was the right time to step down and allow the next president to take the baton at full stride. Though the announcement did not specify an exact timeline, Sands wrote that he would serve until my successor is in place. The university's news release indicated he would step down in the coming months. However, presidential searches can often take a year. UVA's did not, however. University of Virginia, that search went pretty quick, and they got it done by December of last year. And I think we know the reasons why. Speaking anonymously, one source familiar with the situation told Inside Higher Ed that Spanberger had been in touch with Virginia Tech Rector John Rakovich, and the two had spoken directly about the need of her appointments, who will be named in July to be involved with the new presidential search. The two have spoken candidly about the need for the president to be selected through a transparent and thorough process that does not undermine public trust in university leadership, they said. Okay. So Virginia Tech has to name a new president. The board of trustees, the people on the job right now, they would probably love to be able to name a new president under their tenure. But the governor's pushing back on that. She's basically saying, no. It's the board of trustees that I'm going to put in place. And those people are going to take over in July. So who's going to win that battle? Is it going to be the current board of visitors, or is it going to be the ones that are coming on in July? I'm going to give you my prediction on this because we have reported on this already. But again, this article just came out today. Remember, we reported to you all that a University of Virginia administrator who's been kind enough to talk to us on numerous times here at Peek Around the Corner. BTM and his associates. He let us know that this Governor Spanberger has made it known. We reported to you this a couple of months ago. Maybe not a couple of months ago, maybe 1 month ago. This Governor Spanberger has made it known that Virginia Tech is going to have to be taken care of. That it ain't going to be Virginia just leaving in the middle of the night, going to the Big Ten and the SEC. Virginia Tech is going to have to be taken care of. So, I think what I think is going to happen is I don't think the current Board of Visitors is going to name the new president. It's too quick. And Spanberger has come out ahead, and she's tried to cut anybody's worries off at the path, basically saying internally, Virginia Tech is going to be part of any plan when it comes to the University of Virginia. Now, you can either believe her or not. She's a politician. She's a governor. Of course, she wants her people in place to hire the new president because there's a million subjects that are important to these political parties and the interests that have nothing to do with college athletics, right? I'm interested in the college athletic part of it because something is probably going to hit here in a very short period of time. We got conferences threatening to go in their silos. We've got ACC schools that have factions in each and every one of them that actually want to have a reimagined ACC. We got some people, we talked about it yesterday, we've got the great ACC mystery about at least 6 schools being able to leave the conference and only paying $75 million exit fee to form a one sport conference, a football conference. That option is out there. Spanberger, according to this Virginia administrator, has sort of come out ahead on this and basically is trying to tell Virginia Tech Hokies that you're going to be taken care of. That this ain't going to be just Virginia leaving in the middle of the night. It is one of the reasons when I made my prediction show on April 9th, 4 days ago, and it was a prediction show. It was not a report. It was a prediction. It was the reason why I put Virginia Tech in the SEC rowboat for the first time ever. Now, again, I got about a 1% chance of getting all that correct, my prediction, because there's so many variables that are out there. Nothing is close, nothing is imminent, nothing is done. But there does seem to be some realization that is going on that Virginia Tech most likely is going to have to be taken care of. Or at least that's the information that is dropping onto us here in the last couple of months. You saw with Virginia Tech, they hired James Franklin. They made all these promises of getting more money into the athletic program. They've got all this stuff going on. And now they're going to get a new president. And I think we're really going to have to keep an eye on who that new president is going to be. Who is it ends up going to be? And Spanberger is trying to make it known that in the state, especially in this day and age, where Virginia is probably going to have to lean. I'm talking about the University of Virginia. Is probably going to have to lean on the state even a little bit more. We're seeing that all over the country. We just saw it with the University of Wisconsin-Madison. They're going to be getting some money yearly from the state when it comes to funding their athletic department, NIL and all that stuff. Virginia is going to have to lean on the state a little bit more, the University of Virginia, and that's going to you're going to have to bring Virginia Tech into the fold on that, or you're not going to get enough support, University of Virginia. Overall, Virginia Tech is a different university than Virginia. Virginia Tech is big on research. They are. Very big research university. They're not AAU, but that is a research university. Virginia Tech is a more conservative place in Virginia. Spanberger she's trying to make sure that they are taken care of. At least that's what she's saying internally. Tim Kaine, a Democrat senator, doesn't look like he's trusting the fact that Tim Sands is leaving right now, right before the Board of Visitors, the new ones, come on board in next July. The timing of that, he says he doesn't want to speak on it publicly. Like, there's something there that he wants to say, but he doesn't want to say it. But this is what I think. Cavamoni coming to Blacksburg. I don't think Virginia Tech, I could be completely wrong on this. Okay? But I think, again, Spanberger has talked to the rector. I don't think Virginia Tech is going to rock the boat on this. I don't think they're going to push the new president in before the new Board of Visitors come in July. Because they're probably going to go with the fact that they have been told that the governor and the attorney general has got their back on this. That whoever deals with Virginia when it comes to this new world of college sports that is going to be happening most likely within the next 4 years, they're going to have to deal with Virginia Tech. I think that's what Virginia Tech is going to bet on. I don't think Virginia Tech, again, this is a prediction. I don't think Virginia Tech is going to bet on the following. Oh, we're going to get our own president in. We're going to get this president in before the new Board of Visitors get in. We're going to make sure this new president is looking out for us at Virginia Tech, not at Virginia. I don't think they're going to want to get on the wrong side of this governor at this time. I think Virginia Tech is going to say, all right, we'll wait for the new Board of Visitors. And then they're going to have a voice in the governorship. And hopefully, from the Hokie perspective, that they've got enough push politically to make sure that they're taken care of. But more drama in the state of Virginia. The University of Virginia former president pushed out. Timothy Sands is not saying he's being pushed out, but the U.S. Senator Tim Kaine believes he's getting pushed out. Spanberger's working behind the scenes trying to make sure that she's got the voice to get the new Virginia Tech president in, because the new Virginia president was not selected by her people. And why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about all this politics? Because we have to. Because it's playing a big part in the next wave. It just is. So we're trying to understand from our sources, from our Virginia administrator and other people chatting behind the curtain, we're trying to understand what is happening on the ground. I'm still getting comments on my DM about my prediction show on April 9th. I got a DM from somebody who's saying, Greg, why don't you know what's going to happen? Because of course I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I talked to a lot of people. Very fortunate. But there's no way to know. If we had Pete Thamel in here in the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kirk Gowdy Avenue, if we had Pete Thamel in here, if we had Heather Dinich in here, if we had Paul Feinbaum in here, if we had Brett McMurphy in here, if we had Ross Dellinger in here, if I had all 5 of them sitting in here, and I said, look, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Tell us what's going to happen. They would have 5 different answers. And they would say, I don't know. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know, because it's impossible to know. We're not at that part of the story. There's too many variables. One of the big variables in all of this is, unfortunately, state, regional, and national politics. So we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. It's affecting North Carolina, Chapel Hill. It sounds like it's going to affect Virginia, University of Virginia. And more, it looks like Virginia Tech might be able to kind of like how they were able to get into the ACC. They might be getting into the P2, possibly, maybe. I think it's a better shot now than it's ever been before. But they're going to have a whole lot of things go their way. So that is our story for tonight. I just wanted to put that out there. Article released today. More drama in the state of Virginia. It seems like what's happening, the battle at Virginia Tech, is what happened at the University of Virginia. Okay. We're going to go to a couple of very generous super chats. And then we'll go to your phone calls. Talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. Phone calls, the floor is yours. Super chats, the floor is yours. You can talk about anything you want in college football. It doesn't have to be what I talked about tonight. Frank Pata. Thank you for coming on in. Thank you for your $5 holler. Very much appreciate it, sir. Virginia Tech President Sands previously announced he would be retiring. Athletic Director Whit Babcock will also be retiring. They stayed on until the football was more settled. So Frank Potter might not be believing that there's really anything afoot here. This is just natural. Tim Kaine believes there's some scuttle thing. There's some cloak and dagger stuff going on. Frank Potter thinks that this is just natural. And he could be right. But there's a lot of distrust going on at these universities when these presidents are resigning like this. Buckeye Greg, thank you for the $5 holler. Frank Potter, thank you very much, kind sir. Buckeye Greg, hey, the Buckeyes, spring football game. Hey, Greg, the Ohio State spring game is this Saturday at high noon on the Big Ten Network. Interesting. I tried to do a watch party last Saturday, but I failed. The Florida Gators were not covered on the SEC network, but the Buckeyes will be covered on the Big Ten Network. I'm going to have to check my schedule with the Little General, and we'll see if we can do a spring football game. Thank you, Buckeye Greg. Thank you so much for giving me that information. Very much appreciate it. Thank you for your generosity. Once again, thank you so very much. And we've got Hollywood Caden with another $2 holler, but I can't put it up there. Hollywood Caden, because the message was retracted. Thank you for the $2 holler. I appreciate it. Jansen Roberts, that's not what early negotiations are about. Reports are that SEC and ESPN are both looking to begin early negotiations on a deal perhaps as early as January 2027. Don Scruggs wants me to interview Heather Dinich. We should meet Heather Dinich. Quadersteel. The SEC conference shouldn't be worried about adding teams. The SEC conference should eliminate dead weight programs like Ole Miss, Florida, Texas A&M, because they can't beat a team like Miami from the ACC. Hello.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
All right. I don't think that's going to happen, but again, Richmond is being smart, Arnegat. If Virginia is only available to the Big Ten, then if the state is important to SEC, Virginia Tech gets the SEC invitation. So both of them get a P2. You forgot to include Matt Hayes. You're right, I did. I forgot to include Matt Hayes. I don't think he would accept the invite. I don't think any of them would, by the way. Kenneth Maynard, Virginia has looked north for some time towards D.C., not a southern state like it used to be. Okay, we're going to open up the phone lines here. Opening up the phone line, 763-260-1333. Okay, I keep getting these messages.
From
Rick?
Rick, the floor is yours. Can you just give me one moment, though?
Oh, of course.
I'm getting this. You know how you get? I don't know. If people on X, if you get a DM and somebody is asking you to vote on something, you do not wanna vote on that, because that's a scam. Even if it's from a person that you are. I'm getting those right now. I've been getting those the last couple of days, and I keep erasing them. Go ahead, Rick. The floor is yours.
Yeah, the last time we spoke, you asked me to predict who I thought would leave first. You know what I said? Was Miami and X. Miami and X.
Yeah.
And that X was my variable. And the biggest reason was because I probably would have picked Virginia with them. But it's this politics and soap opera.
Yeah. Yes.
That go on in the ACC.
Yes. And it's hard to know where it's going to end up.
Exactly. That makes it so difficult. I just don't have a problem with Miami. But their partner, Virginia, makes perfect sense. But I guess only if they do it before July 1st. Because I don't think that once that governor gets what she wants, I don't think that's going to be a possibility. What do you think?
You know what? I really don't know. I really haven't formed. I really don't know, Rick. I saw the report today. I knew it was something that we'd have to cover because we covered it on the Virginia side. We covered it on the North Carolina side. I don't think this. I think a lot of things have to go Virginia Tech's way, but that I think that possibility is alive, and I just wanted to make sure we covered this. So when we have to go back to it, we can say that we talked about it. We already talked about it, but I really don't have a. I don't. Now look, the timing. Look, I think it's very doubtful that the current Board of Visitors would hire their president regardless, because the timing is so quick here. But when you have a Senator, Tim Kaine, that is worried and think there's some skullduggery going on, and he makes a public comment, then maybe there is some skullduggery going on. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion.
Because I'm thinking if the SEC were to announce something at the end of May, that would allow the time between then and the beginning of July for Virginia to maybe break away on their own with Miami. Or do you think that the SEC is just going to say, okay, on Memorial Day, that right around at the meeting there, their annual meeting, that the 16 are going into a silo, period, no additional teams to be announced. We 16 are going in and shutting the hatch. We'll open the hatch.
I do have an opinion on that.
Okay.
I highly doubt that they're going to make an announcement that they're going in the silo on Memorial Weekend, although Paul Feinbaum kind of alluded to it. I think we're going to get some either some major threat, or they're going to say we're going to make a decision in due time. Something to the effect of the train is on the track and it's going along and we're probably going to do this. Something like that will probably happen. I don't think it's going to happen on Memorial Weekend, because I think they would want to talk with the Big Ten. I mean, I don't see it happening on Memorial Weekend. I could be wrong on that. Maybe the train is down further on the track than I even think it is. But what I really don't believe is I don't think the SEC is going to come out and say it's our 16 and we're not expanding. Even if they are not going to expand in the next couple of years, I don't think they would ever say that. I don't think they'd want to show their cards to the Big Ten. I don't think they would say that, even if that is their plan.
Okay, so Memorial Day weekend there, that meeting at the end of May, they'll probably announce something for the future. We're going to do blank for the future.
That's my guess.
We're doing it now. We plan on in the future. This is our announcement. In the future, we plan to X. Okay.
Something more definitive is going to be said on that weekend, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that could lead to some ACC teams jumping. Whatever that is that they put out. Not jumping to the SEC, jumping to the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get... Again, we don't know what we don't know. The ramifications on this are endless. I think the prisoner dilemma even gets ratcheted up even more if the SEC makes some real definitive statements. And not just from the presidents that come out of those meetings. If Greg Sankey actually says something that is quite different than what he's saying now, like, okay, we got to slow down here. We're having discussions about it, but I really would like to be able to work within the NCAA and all these committees and subcommittees and board committees. And But if we hear a different tone coming out of Greg Sankey in those May meetings, then buckle up. And I don't know what the hell is going to happen next, Rick.
Well, yeah, because he's either going to have to come out on the same page as the athletic directors and the presidents of the SEC, or on a different page. And I can't believe he's going to announce something different from them. Can you?
No.
So they'll all be on the same page.
I would think so.
Yeah. I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. Or they'd say nothing. Saying nothing is better than saying two different things.
Yeah.
But saying nothing says something. And then with the other one thing, and I'll hang up. A lot of people think, and I think you do too, that the addition of a school or schools to the Big Ten will necessitate having to make Washington and Oregon whole. I disagree. I totally disagree.
I
think they're bound to the terms of their agreement that they entered into until it ends.
I think you can't bring a team in and give them a full freight without bumping Oregon and Washington up. But you might bring a team in that's basically getting the same deal or less of a deal than Oregon and Washington. That's what
I think they can bring somebody in full freight.
I
turn around and say you were lucky to get what you got.
Yeah, I don't know.
You signed up for it.
Yeah.
That's mine. Okay, later.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Great call, Rick. Beautiful call. Jose Feinbaum admitted status quo is unsustainable for another 3 years. Yeah, he has said that over and over again. Absolutely. Kenneth Maynard, silos will not happen. Fun off-season talk, but not realistic. Again, when the word silo, when we're talking about silos, can mean a whole lot of different things. There is the silo in which all we're talking about is the conferences are going to be governing themselves or more of themselves. But I think there's a wide spectrum on the word silo that we're headed into. Like there is the silo in which the conferences are going to be governing themselves a little bit more. And then there's the extreme silo in which the SEC only plays themselves during the regular season. The playoffs are up in the air. And we might start, I think we'll probably start with the more conservative, the more cautious silo. But if then there's more distrust, again, less chances of everybody coming around and talking with each other, and more breakaway from the NCAA on this, on that, on that, on this. Suddenly, before too long, we're at the extreme part of the silo. So again, do I think the extreme part of the silo on the spectrum is going to happen right off the bat? No. But going in their own silos, when the SEC starts making their own rules, enforcing their own rules, and then the Big Ten follows and other conferences, I think that very well could happen. If the SCORE Act doesn't pass, if the Nebraska 18 wins their arbitration case, that could be coming out any day now, although we were told probably early May. I think the whole silo thing is going to happen. But again, silo means different things. I think we have a big spectrum here. And I hope and pray that it doesn't start out at the extreme part of it. If we got to go down this road, I don't want to go. I don't I don't want anybody hitting the nuclear button. All right? DEFCON 1, let's stay at DEFCON 1. Let's stay at DEFCON 1. All right, everybody, we're gonna end this thing here at an hour and about 25 minutes. I want to appreciate everybody coming on in. A little bit later start this evening. Hopefully, we have an earlier program tomorrow. But I got to get off the air. Little General and I are busy, so I do appreciate all of you joining us. I do want to thank Hollywood Kate and Eva Badger, Frank Potter, and Buckeye Greg for your donations. Very much appreciate your generosity to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Thank you, Rick, for the phone call. I wish I could take on more phone calls. We'll make sure we get that done tomorrow. We'll get on earlier. Again, bunch of things were happening where we were expecting a basic. I was thinking we were not even going to be able to get on tonight because of the bad weather that was coming on in. But it all moved just south of us here. So we were very fortunate. Thank you all for joining us. I very much appreciate it. Buckle up, brace for impact. Live show tomorrow, April 14th. Make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell, smash the like button. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, please, you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, Golden Goal.